The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, and iNetworks Communication Station.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another George Namho radio show. And as always, I have the best guest in the world. And today I have with me Tiffany Brooks. She's running for judge of the Fifth Circuit Sub Court. Welcome to the show, Tiffany Brooks.
Hi, George. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Excellent. So let's get right into it. So the question is, I'm going to start off with one question that says, okay, how did we get to this point? How did we get to where you're running for judge in the great city of Illinois and Chicago?
Well, there is a great need for diversity on the bench. We all know that. I think anyone who enters into any of the circuit courts of Cook County, whether it's across Skokie, Maywood, down to Markham and Bridgeview, or even the Daly Center, and especially at 26th Street, the people that enter there know that there is a lack of diversity on the bench. There needs to be people who look like us, who live in our neighborhoods, who've grown up in our communities, who know our people, to represent us on the bench, and someone who can relate when you step before them, because we know that our set of issues and our set of matters and things that we deal with are different from others. We know that. There's no secret. I mean, it doesn't need to be whispered. We know that our people, we just have a different lifestyle. We have a different set of values, a set of morals. We have different ways that we live in our communities. And most times, it unfortunately ends up with our youth being landed in the court system, the school to prison pipeline. I mean, we can go on and on. Right. And so there needs to be someone there who understands the core issues, not someone there who can just sit there and listen and apply the facts to the law to the facts. I mean, we can do that. There are many qualified attorneys. So the qualifications, of course, are first, but the understanding and the integrity and the unbiased and, the impartiality, and not just looking at a person when they step before you, judging the book by its cover and just saying, lock them up, or,
right.
Put
Guilty.
them in jail.
Guilty without hearing the facts.
Exactly. Guilty before being proven innocent.
Right. Unfortunately. Yes. So the other question, so why do you believe you're the best qualified candidate for this new seat?
Well, for a myriad of reasons. So number one, I didn't go straight through undergrad and went to law school. I did a few other things in my life. I was a social worker. I licensed foster homes, and I was also a specialized caseworker for foster homes. I had a lot of interaction with a lot of children who need people to advocate for them, who need people on their side. And don't get me wrong, many things happen in families, but sometimes the parents need the support as well. They need the resources too, so that they can be better parents. So that's one component. I definitely have that understanding. And just being a single mother myself, I know how much effort it takes to work and want to better yourself, and at the same time be an example to your children and providing for them. And right now, providing for them is so difficult, and you can't be everywhere at once. And a lot of mothers are out there, and fathers are out there working and doing things, and the children are home,
Latchkey kids.
Absolutely. Latchkey kids. And some of the villages have diminished. When I grew up, I could walk down the block, and before I got to the door, my grandmother or somebody was standing at the door. They knew where I was coming, which direction I was coming from, because the people on the block were going to call. Right. And so we don't have that anymore. So they need someone to advocate for them. Once I left being a caseworker, I worked for a bank for over a decade. So there was a small community bank that is so near and dear to my heart. It used to be called South Shore Bank, and it was known as Shore Bank. we did a lot of good things for a lot of people in the community, made a couple of Black millionaires, provided, first-time homes for a lot of good people. And that's always been a component that I've been concerned about, is helping others, especially when it comes to affordable housing and being able to provide housing for families. Because if you go to work every day, but you have nowhere to lay your head, what do you tell your children at night if you can't feed them? So I'm very, very concerned about, the family, especially the Black family. And we need to reunite the Black family. And I definitely want to do that, being an advocate and on the bench. We need to press that. So I know the law. I know civil procedure, criminal procedure. I've done domestic relations. So in my law practice, I've done civil and criminal law. So I'm not just I was never a prosecutor. So I wasn't an assistant state's attorney or public defender or anything like that. I was a private. 95% of my client came from word of mouth. I didn't have to use social media or anything. I did a great job for them, and they referred me to their family and friends. And, I did well. And then I went to the city of Chicago and worked for the city for a while. So I've done a few things. Right now, I am general counsel for the clerk of the circuit court. So all of the courthouses in Cook County, the clerk, who, when you go in to file your documents and paperwork, the clerks that sit next to the judges, those are our employees. So, there's about 1,100 of those employees, and I'm the lead lawyer for that group. So I have a bird's eye view of the court system. So I've been on one side of the bench in an advocacy role as far as litigation and representing my clients, and I'm on the other side for the court behind an administration right now. So I have twofold. I can navigate a courtroom. I can manage a courtroom. So I have that experience, and that's what makes me best. But also, even when I was working for the city of Chicago, my last role with them, I worked with the businesses across Chicago. I've seen a lot of business owners suffer during this pandemic, and helping them, trying to help them maintain and sustain and not close their doors. So in the communities out that way, just trying to make sure that our neighborhoods are not completely shut down and that we don't have to travel outside to other neighborhoods to get what we need. We have food deserts. Our residential blocks have so many abandoned buildings. So we need to come together and get those types of things in order. And, I need to make a difference. An older lawyer told me, if you want to make a difference, start being the example. Don't complain, start being the example. It's going to get rough. It's going to be hard. This is what you signed up for. So either you embrace it, or you go off to a large firm and make billable hours, $300, $400, $500 an hour. The choice is yours. And so I chose to represent everyday people.
Excellent. You have incredible testimony, because see the diversity of your background. Remember, you didn't just go straight from law school, became an attorney, 25 years in practice, now want to be a judge. It's like, okay, that's cookie cutter. You took the road that the people that you want to go out and vote, that's listening to this broadcast. Again, remember, I worked in the bank, I worked in social service, and see, if we did a checklist, you did social service, helping people, you're working in excellence, helping people, homeowners, entrepreneurs, all that is service. And it's service on a multi-level dimension, because see, you represent what I look like. So I can go, oh, she worked in the bank. She had a regular 9 to 5, and you're a mother as well. So again, you didn't have an easy road, because you still got to be a mother. You still got to work. You got to bring the bacon, fry it in the pan, and then take and put them in the bed. So there's a lot to go with that. So incredible. Let me ask you a question. What impact has the pandemic had on the court systems based on your bird's eye view?
Oh my goodness, it completely flipped the courts upside down. The courts had never been, not in Cook County, ever been remote. They'd never been remote before. And so that is a totally new and outside concept for courts and for public service in general. Most people didn't work from home. That's something for corporate or, IT or MIS. So this is something that had to be basically developed from scratch and from beginning to end. Zoom, so many of the judges that were older and maybe not as tech savvy, we had to bring them on board, and that's through the Office of the Chief Judge. Our office works with the Office of the Chief Judge. So it's about getting Zoom court up and going, and our clerks some of them were able to work remotely initially, and then we returned to the office and our clerks had to be physically in the courtrooms while the judges were out. So it was, it was working with the judges while they're somewhere else and we're here and getting the orders done and getting people in and out and checking in the Zoom room. So it's been a journey. It has been a journey, but we've been all working together and just trying to make our way through it. So.
Excellent job. Because remember, I picked on that because I'm like, you said you managed that. So that whole thing and what did it look like, but you kept it running so you can get things handled.
So when the courts first started Zoom, we weren't in place yet. I hadn't started working here. On the city side, we were doing that, but I hadn't started with the county yet. So they had already got it up and running. We've been managing it since we've taken office in 2020, but it was later in the year. So it was still a journey. I mean, it was still brand new because the courts shut down in March. They didn't return until July when we came in December. So it was still very new. People were still, and people still come to the courthouse this day. We have Zoom rooms here where if you don't have access to a computer, if you don't have access to a phone that you can get Zoom, or you just need help, you can definitely come down to the Daily Center or wherever your court is and get some help and go into our Zoom rooms. As a matter of fact, we have a brand new self-represented litigants center at the Daily Center that we made, especially for people who don't have attorneys. That's
powerful. Cool. So how do people what do you want the voters to go do? You want them to go to the polls,
yes.
Give them your punch number, give them your slogan, and as they say, give them their last ask, because that's all we can do is ask.
That's what well, I always say on anytime I'm talking to the voters, whether it's in person or an interview, I say I would love to earn your vote. And if you would please punch 195, that's 195 for Tiffany N. Brooks. Some people don't remember my last name. Brooks is kind of easy. Brooks Brothers, Brooks Beans, but most people remember Tiffany. Tiffany is so easy to remember. They remember Breakfast at Tiffany's. They remember Louis Tiffany. They remember Tiffany and Company. They remember that every time.
That's right. Excellent. So there you have it. Tiffany Brooks for judge. Punch 195 and everything's gonna be all right? Everything's
gonna be all right. We're gonna make this feel real good for you.
Excellent. I guess she has a heart for the people. She served the people in many capacities, just like regular people watching the show. She's done those jobs, and they're saying done it in excellence. Not just did them, but did them in excellence. So let me play her promo video, and then we'll be right back.
Thank you.
I'm attorney Tiffany Brooks, and I'm running for judge in the 5th Judicial Subcircuit for Cook County. As Chief Legal Counsel for the Office of the Clerk of the Circuit Court, I am responsible for advising over 1,000 employees on matters pertaining to the clerk's office. And once I am elected to the bench, I will continue to be compassionate, yet tough on repeat offenders and violent crimes. However, I will apply equal justice to all those who come before me, and I will work diligently with the community to do all that I can to help make the streets safer for everyone to live, because people matter to me. On June 28th, 2022, please remember to punch 195 Tiffany Brooks for judge, because I want to be the people's candidate.
Paid for by friends of Tiffany N. Brooks.
There you have it again. Tiffany Brooks for judge, Cook County, punch 195. Thank you again, Judge soon-to-be Brooks. Again, I'm not going to see you on the bench because hopefully I don't come there. I keep my record clean. But for those who need her, she's there with excellence. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Stay cool.
Thank you.
This is your granddaughter in the community. Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, an iNetworks communication station.